Hello. Thanks for dropping in. I am at a crossroads, and in a quandary I am. Let me just get to my chair, and I will explain. I shall. Torment. So, I have this beautiful machine. Works just dandy. All is well, all is good. I have this other one, which was the chocolate machine, that was working, except there was something not right with RAM things. And what I think I'm dealing with is definitely socket troubles. This machine was the one that had been working long ago and then stopped, and then it was working, except if you remember, if I put a program in, which would load, and then I would list things, there was not, it wasn't right. There was junk in the first little bit. So I have done things to get rid of some of the chocolate that's on the circuit board. Nothing destructive. But in the midst of that, I did pull out the RAM chips that were in the very two sockets that were affected, and I have sprayed stuff in, and I've done all kinds of things. But now the machine, much like I seem to remember before, won't come up, because I think somehow the sockets have been affected. Something is not making a good connection. It is just not. So, I'm thinking that what I should really do is unsolder the sockets and see what is what. Now there is, and when I do that, I could pretty much get the chocolate off the board. Unfortunately, the chocolate also kind of inflicts down farther underneath one of the ROM chips, but it doesn't seem to affect anything. So chances are I could just deal with the RAM thing and everything would be fine. I believe that to be the case. And I am not afraid of unsoldering things. I am not. Now, at this moment in time, it is difficult to get sockets. Now, I have two sockets here that are the ones that I call them the shark tooth sockets. I'd rather get something more original, but I could use them. I have to check my supplies, see if I have others. Now the other thing I have is, of course, I have this other pet here that I really don't know much about. What I have done in the last night, is I did take the now unpopulated circuit board out, and I have been looking at it. And of course, what can you really tell by looking? I mean, I don't see any damage. It was not fully populated when I got it. I've certainly made off with some RAM chips to see what's happened there. I guess there's been maybe some repair work on it. Maybe. 3 chips look like they've maybe had a little work. Let me just see here. Only because they look like they have been soldered. Maybe. remnants of flux, perhaps. But it doesn't look like any damage. Although it's funny, a couple of the places that things have been soldered in look like maybe they are making a connection underneath. And I wonder if that's the way it's supposed to be. Actually more than one. Interesting. I guess I would need to look at another board to see what is what. To see if something here needs to be unsoldered. Anyway, what I'm thinking as I look around is I don't think I could do much harm if I were to populate this board. But see, I know everything in here is good. I'm sure what we have here is a socket problem. So I'm thinking if I were to populate this board and stick it into this machine, there is a somewhat reasonable chance that it might work. Because I know the chips are good. So what it would mean to give it the first level of trying would mean popping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 18 chips. I would not fill it with RAM initially. So that is also something. So I think I have two projects. Definitely, yes, definitely get rid of the sockets, see what's what, because I know, I'm confident that with new sockets, or God help us, if I put the chips directly into the board that I'm not going to do, that everything would be fine. I could also look and see if there's any trace damage, but like the chocolate, I don't know where it came from, I don't know when it got there, I don't know how it happened, but it is right down into the pins. And the last time this machine stopped working for me, it was a very similar situation, in that it was after I had diddled with the RAM a little bit that things went poorly. And right now, it is plugged in right now, and I know if I turn it on, it makes all the right noises. But the correct message does not appear upon the screen, whereas it used to. And I have sort of tinkered these and massaged them and tried. And it's not happening. This one, of course. Is beautiful. Oops. Beautiful. So, I am thinking that with great care, while this board is still in here, and while this board is out, that I might swap 18 chips and be very careful about getting them in just right. And then, it's funny, these little plastic things that the boards are held onto, they are challenging to get things out, but I did manage to get this board out of there. So anyway, Basically, the technique I found is you got to look for where anything is sticking out and take a screwdriver and very gently, just whether you're pulling the board a little bit up, try and spring the thing free. There are, well, there's at least 2 other screws to come out, but that doesn't seem too terrible. Anyway, I have no idea if this board works or not, but certainly I'm confident that if I populate it, I will have an answer. So this is loading. It is. Just because I keep testing it. Alright, so I will list the program, which is nothing special. That does not need to be down. Anyway, I guess what I'm doing now is I'm getting my nerve up. See, because this machine here was lovely, and then I guess I started tinkering, and then it wasn't lovely, and now it's been lovely, except it isn't. It's so close. So close. And I know that the RAM chips, like I've set all the bad ones aside. I know it. So I'm kind of at a crossroads. Actually, you know what I'd really love to do? I'd love to populate this board, find out that it's working. That would be grand. And fix this board and get it working. That would be grand. So then I would have 3 of the boards that are working. Now I probably don't have all the chips necessary to have 3 of them working. You know what, over here I don't have a keyboard. I'm sure I could find another data set to put inside. I'm sure I could. But it would still be very nice to have 3 circuit boards that I know are working. So, remember way back when I was going to sell this one, and I said, I really don't have time to tinker on this. Well, I really don't have time to tinker on this. And I don't have time to tinker on this or this. But I'm going to. So, I think today, in a moment, I will begin the process of yanking the chips and putting them into this board one at a time, very carefully, to make sure that I know that I've got everything in the right spot. Some of these are more challenging to get to than others. Here is a bag of good chips. Here is some alcohol, which, if it was another form of alcohol, might be handy. There was a toothbrush that I used to deal with some of the chocolate. By the way, I did find eventually that off of the circuit board, I don't know if the alcohol loosens anything up or not. I'm always afraid when I move these things that it might fall down and try and bite my hand off. Anyway, for this part of the circuit board off to the side here, where I could get at it, Magic Eraser did magical things. It did. So, alright, it is time to go deep, to go all in. So, I am going to snag a chip out of this machine using my little screwdriver. And no, it's not a chip puller, but I still feel better when doing this. It's funny, you know, there must have been something else going on with this machine, because there's not corrosion on the pins, but some of the chips have smuts on the top. Alright, so this is a 6520. And I'm going to very carefully line up all the pins. Oop, what do we got here? It's in, but it doesn't feel in yet. There. Alright. That's in. On some of these older things, the witness mark is not a little divot out of the socket. It's just that the socket is, how do you put it? A little, well, it's flush on the one end and not quite flush on the other end. And the not quite flush is where the chip would go. This is a 6522. And I will once again line it up with great care. Ah! Great care indeed. A pin has bent. Oh God. This could be catastrophic. Always check the pins, always check the pins. Did it break? Oh God. It did not break, but it is wounded. Holy shit. I don't know how I missed that. They only have so many bends in them before they break. Oh dear. Alright, I think I can rescue this. I wish I had a little wee pair of pliers right here, right now. But I think I can massage this enough to get it sorted. Well, that could have ended in a tragedy. That still might. Well, it's got a bit of a bend to it, but nothing. Nothing like what it did. Give me just a moment here. Small pliers, very handy, just for straightening. You can do a lot of good things with a screwdriver and your fingers, but tiny little pliers are very handy. Very handy indeed. Alright, that took a little longer than I had in mind. just looking at the other chip, it looks fine. And I'm checking the witness mark. I'm not nervous. I know if I do that again, this chip is probably in trouble. Not that things can't be done to sort out broken pins, but I'd rather not do that. Alright, I'm watching very carefully. Alright, we're in. Alrighty. I'll go for another. I've started along the back. And now I'm very carefully inspecting the pins, and these all look fine. This, well, I think it's a wrong chip. Alright, the pins look good. Okay. Now here comes a screen RAM chip. Well, I think I'm going to turn that off. I do not need distractions at this time. Alright. So, screen RAM. I'm going to put them in exactly the same positions. Ooh, that's what they were, or what they are. We're good. Okay, another screen RAM chip. I'm going to tweak the two pins on the end very carefully. It's funny, I know which way these are supposed to go in, but the sockets tell me otherwise. Maybe they're just in backwards. But just to make sure, I'm going to look in here. Yes. They are correct. Alright, so the screen RAM is swapped. And here we have I can't read it. 6502. Ooh. The heart and soul. And it's funny, this socket, it doesn't really have a witness mark. Alright, that is good. This is a 6520. Looks like usually the pins, if anything is going to get a little wonky, it is an end pin. Alrighty. Spring. Yep, this chip's got some good spring to it. I'm just trying to get it lined up. Alright. It's good, so we have switched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chips. The next chips to go are all these ROMs, which must of course be done just so. Oh, you know what I'm going to do before I forget? I'm just going to unplug. Not that it's, I know it's off. I know it's off. It's okay. Alright. 65, 40. Da 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 da. Yes. Alright. Okay, I got some good spraying, some of these. Alright, that's in. You know, somehow my gut tells me that even though I do all this, it's still not going to work. I would like to be wrong. But, you know, when you don't know the history of a machine, who knows? So, another ROM. Pins are good. We're in. 4 more to go. Oh. Wow. I didn't do that. Here's one that has a bad bend to it. It may not have been actually in there properly. But there's no way, the way that is bent, that I did that. And I've not had these chips out, so that's how it was. Perhaps that's another thing in reseating things. I should take things out and have a really close look at all the pins to make sure that nothing else has gone squirrely. Ooh, come on. Alright. 3 round chips to go. And these all look dandy. And that looks dandy. We're almost there. Oh. Okay, one of these, indeed, has had some surgery on the pins. The one pin at the end here. Oh, I want to be really gentle with this. Has a new leg soldered onto it. Maybe 2 of them. Boy, that is delicate little work. Alright. So we want to get these in with great care. Okay. Here is the last round chip. Got a little tweak on the end. Alright. Check the witness mark. Alright, tickety-boo. So now, all we need, actually, you know what, I'm not going to take those out of there. I'm going to take them out of the bag of RAM chips that are tested. I am. Just double checking the witness mark. So for this machine to operate, it only needs 4, which would add up to 2K. One last RAM chip, and it is backwards, and it is now the right way, and it is in. So here we have it. All right then. Now, I did not envision exactly doing all this right now, but no time like the present. So, oh great. Now I'm trying to get the screw out that's holding the board in, and no pun intended, it appears to be screwed. Like it's not really in right. Maybe it was the wrong screw to put in here. It is spinning. Just when you think you've got everything, just so. And this screw in the back also seems screwed. I don't know how to deal with that. Hang on. Let's get a flashlight. Are there other screws? I see the little plastic things. Is there another? Oh yeah. There's another screw. Oh. Way in the back. Is that one going to come out? Oh, I can barely see. Well, that one seems really tight. Oh, God. It's like it's in, but it's not. Well, let me see here. The one in the back seems pretty secure. I'm just going to do the little plastic thing here. See if I can get this to pop out. That's one. Oh, well, that leg doesn't seem to be attached. So it's just coming out. This one looks like it's over here. It's funny how they're all the same, and yet they're in sort of different, well, that didn't come. Different configurations. Okay, that's the thing. I certainly don't want to hurt the board getting it out. Okay, so we're off the legs. With the screws that don't want to come out. Or they don't. That one doesn't even seem to be attached, and yet it is. I'm trying to get a grip on this with the pliers and apply upward pressure upon it to get it to come out, because it doesn't even really feel like it's in. Aha! It's out. Alright. That looks good. This one in through the cassette port. So the screw is turning, but it's not coming out. Perhaps I need to do a similar thing as with the other, and that would be get a grip and to pull in an upwards direction. This is annoying. Just a moment. I don't know if that's going to make it any better. Certainly this fits well in it. Alright, I'm trying to put a little upwards pressure on the circuit board, just ever so gently. And does it make any difference? No. It does not. Andrew? Andrew? I'm still recording in the midst of a delicate operation here. So give me a few minutes here. I'm trying to get a screw out that won't come out. Aha! It has come out. Just a moment. I've got one more to go. Okay. And the other one, at least I think there's another one. Yeah, there's another one. It is really deep. And I'm not just sure, but it might be stripped. Alright. Oh. Ah. Oh. And undo cables. Okay. Put the lid back in. In the midst of that, a little plastic doohickey on the front got reattached. Let's do this one. this could fall. It's hard to even get a good look in here. Something has happened. This is a good something. It's stuck. Andrew, I've got to get this thing out. I'll call you. I've just got to find another screwdriver. I can't leave this stuck in its current positioning, or bad things could happen. Another screwdriver. I'm hoping it fits better. Almost feels like it's ready. But, oh no. Oh, it's a rivet. What the heck is that? Oh my God. Alright, just a second here. At least I think it's a rivet. Shock hazard, do not open. A little late for that. Well, maybe I can get it from the bottom. Well, that's something, but I don't know if it's the right something. Oh, that's strange. Oh, I see. Okay. So on the bottom of this, there's a little leg that is riveted. Oh, no, that's a screw that's just been screwed. Alright, I wanted to do this all in one go, so let's go. Now I'm not, as they say, screwing around with this. Oh. Oh, I see the chocolates. Okay. It's time. I'm going to get it in position on the legs that are here. There's only two, but that should be fine. So the connectors only go on one way. The machine is not plugged in at this time. There's the keyboard. The cassette is on, the power is on. Let me double check the power. Okay. So, we don't have enough real connectors here and legs here and other things here. But we've done everything that can be done. Oh, let me just check. Make sure, yes. It's still turned off. Power is now available. I will close the screen and pray. So if this goes well, it should come up and be a 1K pet. If it doesn't go well, well, we'll see. Okay, I do not hear the cassette port. Oh yeah. Looks rather similar to the other board. Although something is changing. Sometimes, of course, if things haven't had power on them for a while, try that one more time. It won't make any difference. Yep. That's weird. Alright. Okay, last thing before we call this a day. I'm just checking every witness mark, every chip, and they're all okay. They are. Okay, so there's obviously, you know what, I was going to look at this board to see. Remember I said it looked like there'd been some work done on that other board, and that maybe there were things touching. Oh no. On the original thing, they're supposed to be as they are. They're joined. So, what have we done? Excellent question. Ugh. What have we accomplished? Well, not much, I'm afraid. I mean, there's so many little discrete components on these things. So many. I suppose one thing I could do, just to see if it makes any difference at all, is to change. It should not make any difference. Is to change the chip out of the screen RAM. It's dark in here. Alright. Different screen RAM chip. And what do we get? placement, and it will make no difference. And it makes no difference. And I suppose I might just swap out all the RAM. But once again, it will make no difference. That's another one. Something else is squirrely here. What? I don't know. The one thing I noticed right off is the cassette drive does not get activated. And that usually happens. So it's a sound to listen for when you turn the machine on. Alrighty. Last two chips and then I'll see what Andrew is liking, and I will ponder. All right. And I do not hear the cassette, so I know it's going to be much the same. It will be. One more RAM chip. And I do not hear the cassette. Oh, yeah, I do not hear the cassette. And the screen continues to be full of random assorted characters. It does. So, what do I know? Well, I know that this other board that I had high hopes for has other issues. Oh dear. Well, I best not leave this here. So this is the chocolate board that I'm going to go and remove these sockets and see about putting in other sockets and hopefully resurrecting. But at least I know that this one I'm close on. I'll just take it back there. This one, of course, is, as they would say, beautiful. It's beautiful. Alright, I know this has been a long session. Thanks so much for being here. if you have any thoughts on what could be wrong with this, or anything else that has happened here today. And by the way, I'm sorry I didn't speak up more. I was a little engrossed. So maybe not a bad thing if you hadn't already figured it out. Put on your headphones, crank up the volume. Yes. Alright. I need to take a break. And see what Mr. Andrew's up to. Maybe Penny will drop in. So, once again, thank you very much for coming. It is always a pleasure. Bye for now.